Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back on the Porsche. That's right, we got the Porsche back in here. 09 Porsche Cayenne, 168,000 miles. This is the one with the V8 in it, y'all. Now, the engine runs great, but the transmission has an issue, and we went in on the last video and tried to put a shift solenoid in it for the third gear shift, and we put it all back together, and we went from bad to worse. We don't move at all now. So we got a ton of comments on this thing, and I thought maybe we'd go through, check some of the things that you guys were suggesting. A lot of you guys are saying go in, erase the codes, unhook the battery, all kinds of stuff. Some of you guys are saying that we're low on fluid. Now, we did put back in the recommended amount, which was 8.5 quarts, and we went through the whole process of filling this thing with fluid. Remember, these don't have a fill tube or dipsticks or any of that kind of stuff. You have to pump the fluid in from the bottom, and it's kind of it's a little bit tricky. And we got back in what they recommended, and well, she's just not moving. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe we're just a quart low or something. Let's find out, though. I think we'll start out by resetting the code, just shutting that off and seeing if it comes back. Considering that we replaced that shift solenoid, that code shouldn't come back unless that repair, just didn't take and we have to do something else. Let's go down to erase code. So it wants me to kill the engine with the key on. We're going to keep the key on. There we go. You see there it says, please turn ignition on with the engine off. There we go. All right, that ought to get it. Let's see. Okay, so the code has been cleared. No more engine light. And I've got it up on jack stands all the way around, and we're level. I checked it with a little level there. Just put that on the bottom of the transmission pan, and we're good. You see there, we're up to operating temperature. So I've got it up on jack stands. I've been letting it run for a while. She's all warmed up. Prior to doing this, I did try to make it move back and forth, and it did try to. So I'm hoping maybe that works some fluid back up into the torque converter where it needs to be, and hopefully we're low. We're going to find out. I got my wrench ready. We're going to take the fill tube loose, and if fluid comes out, we know we're full, and we got to go back in and figure something else out. If it's low, if no fluid comes out, then we could try pumping some more in and see if that fixes our issue. So in case any of you missed it last time, this is how you do this. With the engine running, everything's got to be nice and hot. This is your drain. This is your fill. We're going to pop the fill loose. See if any fluid comes out. Like I said, if fluid comes out, she's full. Okay, I say we're low. That should have fluid running out right now. All right, that's awesome. Let me get my pump set up. All right, so that's giving me a little bit of hope, y'all. If that's all we got to do is pump a little more fluid into it, that's awesome. Here's my little pump, my little Harbor Freight pump. We'll take our little pump here. It's got an in and an out. We'll take the in, put it inside of our transmission fluid there. Take it all the way down to the bottom. And then obviously the out is going to go up inside of there. So let's go ahead and get that back off of there. There we go. Hopefully we won't drop it into the pan. Well, this is the tricky part. Make sure the end of this is clean. We got to stick it up in there, and it's going to have to kind of go bend over just a little bit, but we don't want it to kink up, Something like that, maybe. Let's try it. Really simple. All we got to do, pull out on that, and then pump it in. Really simple. And it's taking on fluid right now. I'll take my bottle and tilt it over to the side. I got a little 2x4. Kind of tilt my bottle over to the side a little bit so we can get the last little bit out of there. If you feel any resistance trying to push that fluid in, something's kinked up, you'll need to go back and check it, or otherwise you'll just blow the hose right off the end of there. Fluid will go everywhere. Ask me how I know. So you can see we're getting fluid starting to run out there. In fact, we're kind of making a mess. We're gonna keep going till we know without a doubt it's full. I think my hose is kind of acting up there. I just want to double check, make dang sure. It's acting as though we're full at this point. I might could stop, see where that gets us. Hopefully you can see that I got a steady flow of fluid coming out. We ought to be full. Let's get all this tightened back up. I want to make sure this is nice and tight. There we go. So I got it off the jack stands, as you can see. Let's go see what happens, if anything. Hopefully this time it'll actually move. All right, moment of truth, here we go. I didn't feel anything. Same situation, look. I guess we're going back in, y'all. Yeah, it's still doing the same thing. We're in drive, and you gotta rev up on it to get it to go. I'll get it up to about, there we go. Yeah, there she's finally moving. So I guess we're going back in. But hey, it's worth a shot, right? I mean, it does definitely act like it's low on fluid, but that just ain't it. It's gotta be that old aftermarket shift solenoid. That's the only thing that we changed in the whole scenario. It's gotta be it. But that's okay, because we had a subscriber. His name's John. He sent us a whole pack of these shift solenoids, and these are the factory ones, I do believe. Let's get them out of here and have a look at them. Yeah, let's see what we got, man. It looks like he sent us everything. Like even the pins, look at that. He gave us the pins that hold them in. That's awesome, dude. He thought of everything. Let's get them all out of here. There they are. There they are, y'all. These are the factory shift solenoids. This is what we're needing right here. This is exactly what we're needing. If you guys remember, when we pulled out the shift solenoids and the valve body and everything out of this Porsche, it had all the aftermarket ones in it. Yeah, these right here, these are the aftermarket. You see the, look at the size difference. These are way smaller. So when I bought the repair kit, it wouldn't work for these aftermarket ones. But look, it will definitely work for the factory ones. These caps, because we have to grind the ends of these off, remember? These are the caps that go on the end, and they just click right on there. You just hammer them on, you see? Well, we couldn't do that with these. It was definitely the wrong size, way too much difference there. So, John was cool, man. He sent us everything we need, pins and all, and looky here, he even gave us a picture of how they went in the valve body. He numbered all of them. You see the numbers there? All these have numbers on them, so no way to get it wrong. It's dummy proof is what I'm trying to say, so we ought to be good now. So very much appreciated, John. This ought to get us steering in the right direction. So before we go through all the trouble of installing our repair kit, let's go ahead and check these things with our multimeter. Pretty simple, easy to do. So I got my multimeter out. We're just going to check these right quick, make sure that they are still good. You want to do that before you go through all the trouble of trying to rebuild them and everything. It's got these little terminals down inside of the plug there. Just want to get on those. It's a little tricky, but it can be done. Waiting for my reading. There we go. 5.4, 5.5. That's good. While we're hooked up on one side, you'll want to come through and touch the housing and all of that. Make sure you're not getting a reading. If you are getting a reading, then that would mean it was shorted out and not worth fixing. But these are all checking out. So we got the green light. We could go ahead and install our kit. We'll start off over here at the old bench grinder. You could use whatever grinder you want, if you had an angle grinder or what have you, but bench grinder works really well. I'm just going to grind the bevel off the end of this thing. You see here where we're starting to get a nice little bevel there? That's all we're trying to accomplish. You want to be really careful not to damage the armature that's just on the other side of this. So we just want to go to the end of this starts to pop off. There we go. Yeah, you can see here, that's what popped off the end. Kind of looks like a quarter, about the same size. That's what we're after right there. This is our armature. This is supposed to go back and forth inside of there. And what happens is it starts to get hung up over time due to age and wear and dirty fluid and all of that. So the idea is to take this out. See if we can get it to come out of there. There we go. It just slides right out of there. Really careful. There shouldn't really be any kind of resistance, and I could kind of feel it. In fact, it should just fall out of there like that. That's actually not so bad. And the way this kit works, don't lose this little guy. There's a little bushing inside of there. There we go. Don't lose that. The kit comes with a drill bit precise, you know, enough that where you just drill it down in there by hand. I'll show you here in just a second. And it cleans that out. And then when you slide this guy back in there, it moves freely. So really, you're just kind of cleaning it out. So yeah, in the kit, comes with these drill bits. You got to figure out exactly which one is the one you need. I believe ours is going to be this one right here. Now, once you got that figured out, you're just going to take your drill bit. You're just going to run it down in there by hand. Can't stress that enough. Just in and out by hand. You don't want to use a drill on that, that's for sure. And then clean it out with some brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, whatever you got here. Get that all nice and clean. Once you've done all of that, you slide it back together. Don't forget this little guy, remember? A little bushing there. And then you pop your new caps on. Got my armature all cleaned back up. I've got everything bored out with my drill bit there. Got everything cleaned up with my carburetor cleaner. Let's put it back together. Got my little bushing in there. Slide this back in there. Nice, look at that. See how that slides right out of there. Now, this may not have even needed this, but we're just doing it just to be on the safe side. Why not? Okay, so for the fun part, let's drive the cap onto the end of it. I'm just going to use this leg of my shelf here. We'll stick the cap on the end of it there. There we go. I've got a spark plug socket I'm going to use. They sell special stuff for all this, but you know me, I ain't buying none of it. So let's see if this will work. Just want to tap that on there ever so slightly. I do believe that is on there. Good enough. Let's see. Let's go around and make sure. That's it. That ought to do it right there. So 1 down and 5 more to go. Okay, so I am happy to report I got all those done. All 6 of them are finished up. They're all clean, ready to go. You see, I mean, that's all we're doing is just grinding that end off of there. Really simple. And you put your new cap on after you run your drill bit. I mean, it's so easy. So anyway, those are all good to go. Now it's time to get them back in the car. Probably won't bore you guys too much with all of that because we done went through all that in the other videos, but I'm just going to drain that fluid out and get the pan off and then get that valve body out of there. Well, all right, we do have the valve body out, and at this point I'm going to go ahead and pull all these shift solenoids out, get them out of our way. That little bracket right there is what holds all the little pins in. Once you get that out of the way, you use a little magnet, pull the little pins up, and these will slide right out. So yeah, I just got me a little magnet here, and I'll just kind of push in on that, and then the little pin will come right out. Check it out. Easy enough. So yeah, once the little pin's out of the hole, shift solenoid will slide right out. This one here is number 5. So yeah, this will slide right in here just like so. Pretty easy. Put your pin back in. Just like that. Now I just got to do the rest of them. We'll be set. Okay, so I did manage to get them all in now. Now it's time for the valve body to go back into the transmission. Isn't that a lot better than before? I like that so much better than when we had this one and it was all turned all weird and all that. I just didn't trust it. I think this is going to be much better. Okay, now for the fun part. We're going back in again. And the main thing, I think we mentioned this the first time, is that you don't want them squish any of these wiring harnesses. This thing isn't real heavy, but it is heavy enough, just heavy enough to be awkward, especially when you got transmission fluid dripping down on your face. So here we go. Let's get the first one started here. Okay, so that's the first one. And grab another one over here. Get one on each end. That ought to hold us up there at least anyway. There we go. So in case I failed to mention the first time I did this, aside from making sure we don't squish any of these wiring harnesses, this guy over here, you got to make sure that this little slider here actually goes into that little thing sticking down there. Hopefully y'all can see it okay. Got transmission fluid dripping everywhere. But anyway, that's your shift selector. When you push up top, you know, when you go to put it in gear, that's what actually puts it in gear. So you want to definitely make sure that that is inside of that. Otherwise you will have no gears at all. Okay, so now that that's in, we're going to put all the bolts back in it. I've got all my bolts marked over here exactly the way they came out. You'll definitely want to do that. We mentioned that in the last video. They're different lengths, so they need to go back in exactly where they came out of. Okay, so we got everything all buttoned back up. We got the filter on. Don't worry, we didn't forget our O-ring in there. We're good to go. Everything's plugged up. None of the wires are pinched up. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and get the pan back on it. Alright, so here we go with that refill procedure. Man, this is such a pain. I'm not going to bore you guys with all of it. We did all that in the last video, but just know that it's got to be operating temperature. It's got to be level. You're going to have to get it up off the ground because you got to do all this from underneath. And you have to do it while it's running. You just want to pump it in till it starts running out. So we filled it up till the fluid ran out. Let's see if it'll go into gear. Put it into reverse. It felt like it. Let's see. I got my foot on the brake. I'm letting off now. Dude, it's actually going backwards. That's a huge relief, man. Let's see. Let's go forward now. Going into drive. Oh, there we go, y'all. It wouldn't even do that before. It wouldn't do that before at all. So, all right. Let's get it off the jack stand, see what happens. So I've got her off the jack stands. Let's see if she's gonna move under her own power. We're moving now, y'all. Let's go see if it'll climb up that driveway. For those of you that don't know, my driveway is about 1/4 mile long and it's mostly uphill. If it'll go up this hill, we ought to be good. Well, I think we're back where we started, y'all. It doesn't seem to be shifting past third gear. I mean, we're cruising along, but we're doing like 40 miles an hour at about 2,500 RPMs, and I know that ain't right. Well, it shifted great all the way up until third gear, just like before, but we're not going past it. I don't know what else to do with it. That's so weird. All different shift solenoids, you know, they're all rebuilt and everything, and we still have the same exact issue. Like, what is going on here? Some of y'all saying that maybe we need to reset the computer. I don't know about all that stuff, so we'll have to do some further research or something. I don't really know. I'm kind of tired of messing with it. I don't think I'm going to spend too much more time with it. Definitely not going to spend any more money on it. We may just be sending it. We'll have to see. I mean, I could cruise around these old country roads just fine. Speed limit's 45. You wouldn't even really know anything's wrong with it, but obviously this ain't right. We can't drive around in third gear. Can't manually shift out of it either. Some of you guys were asking about that. No, we're stuck in third. That's just all there is to it. I think we're just right back to square one. hey, at least it's moving again. This way we could actually sell it and let somebody else deal with it. Before, we'd have a really hard time getting rid of it when it wouldn't even move. So I am happy to be back where we started. Unfortunately, we just didn't seem to gain anything after all that work. That was a lot of work. We do have a service transmission, all new transmission fluid, new filter, new gasket, all that. All new rebuilt shift solenoids. I guess somebody's just gonna have to get in there and figure out what the issue is, because apparently that wasn't it. Yeah, you can see we're doing around 45 miles an hour and we're running about, what, 3 grand here. Engine light hasn't come back on. I'll let you know if it comes back on and what code it is, if it's a transmission code or what have you. But yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Win some, you lose some. I don't know. I really appreciate that a subscriber, John, thank you very much for sending those shift solenoids, because it would have really sucked to spend all that money on those and then have it not work out. That would have been terrible. So thanks for saving us on that. I don't know, man. We'll just have to see. Maybe we'll just run it through the auction. Maybe one of those dealers can figure it out. But I think this is where I'm getting off. Can't hold on to them forever, and you can't just keep messing with them. I mean, time is money. So I've got a little bit wrapped up into this, and I'd like to get it back so I can move on to something else. So I do think we will send it. So you have to tune in next time for all that. I'll be sure to keep y'all posted, let y'all know how all that works out. Hopefully we'll still be able to make a few bucks on it. We'll see. Remember, we did get it really cheap, so there might still be some meat left on the bone. We'll just have to wait. I don't know. You never know with that kind of stuff, man. The auctions are funny, the market's funny, everything's funny all the time. Man, this thing rides so good. It would be nice if somebody could figure out what in the hell's wrong with it, because it's still a damn good car. It runs great, it runs perfect. AC blows ice cold. The interior is really clean, not tore up at all. The suspension is so tight on this one, man. All-wheel drive, V8. It's a great little ride, man. If somebody could just figure out what in the hell is wrong, why won't it shift past 3rd gear? I'm lost, I don't know. I did what I could do. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough in this situation. It's so weird because everything else works just fine. I mean, it shifts right into reverse, right into drive, right into, I mean, it's just no problem at all. So I don't understand what's going on. So anyway, man, I hate to leave you guys on a sour note, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're working really hard out here to bring you guys some videos. Go to Instagram and Facebook. Just look for that there, Weird Beard. Everything's free. Hit the subscribe button. It's all free. I do appreciate it. You guys help the channel grow and all that good stuff. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I'll see y'all next time.